Okay, good day everyone. I am Almi Jane T. Halos. Now let us move on and discuss what are the types of observation that we can use as a future educator and also for our um, future purposes that we can apply these types of observation. So now we have four types of observation. It These are the anecdotal record, running record, time sampling, and event sampling. So with that, let us first discuss what is the anecdotal record. So when we say anecdotal record, this is very familiar to us since anecdotal record has been introduced to us a lot of times. And far as I can remember, we are also already um, use this anecdotal record when we do an observation last on our activity, right? And also from our past subject, anecdotal record are also already been introduced to us, and also we are have an experience on using this. So now, what is this anecdotal record really mean? So anecdotal record are the brief notes teachers take as they observe children. They when the teacher do an observation to the children, anecdotal record could be very convenient to use because this is a brief notes that um, teacher can write down faster or easily. So this type of note document a range of behaviors in areas such as literacy, mathematics, social studies, science, arts, social and emotional development of the child, and their physical development. So um, any behaviors in these areas could be observed or can be um, conduct using this type of observation. So as I've said, this type of observation is brief. So this type of is a brief and open and narrative method for observing child's development and learning. So why is this open? So in a way that the teacher can write down all of their observation through the child and write down any observation that she thinks or he thinks could be helpful on her observation or what type of a goal the teacher wants to. So anecdotal record can be planned or spontaneous. So the teacher has a choice on what um, type or what way she do conduct this type of observation. It could be planned or the spontaneous. So I didn't put here on our visual presentation the examples of how we will going to write anecdotal record, but I can say to you how you are going to write down those or what are the format of this anecdotal record. So first, in your paper or your document, you are going to write down there the goal for the observation. Your goal, or what will say they say this? It's more likely observation. I mean objectives. It's like more likely like that na objective siya, your goal on why you are observing. And you're going to write down there also the setting, date, time. So where setting where you conduct the activity or the observation, and date, time, basic activity. So what kind of activity you integrated on observing the child, focus child or the name of the child, age, incident, and the reflection below. Reflection or your comment as a observer or the teacher. So that is the format of writing down the anecdotal record. So with that information, anecdotal record has an advantages on I before that we have five characteristics on five characteristics on knowing what is anecdotal record. It is from Godwin and Driscoll on 1980. So the anecdotal record is the result of direct observation. It is a excuse me, it is a prompt, accurate, and specific account of an event. It includes the context of the behavior. Interpretation of the incident is recorded separately from the incident. And five, it focuses on behavior that is either typical or unusual for the child being observed. So this characteristics will lead to you to know what is the anecdotal record. So now let us proceed on the advantages of anecdotal record. So first we have seven um, in the list that are advantages of anecdotal record. So first is the teacher doesn't need special training to record the behavior of the child. So using anecdotal record, it is not that na need na to nga we are trained and we are being schooled on or have an authority on conducting this type of observation. Anyone or the teacher can observe or use this type of observation anytime. So next, the observation is open-minded. The teacher writes anything and everything she observed. So the observation or gathering data about the child is not limited. The teacher can write down whatever she thinks that or he thinks that will help to his or her observation. Next, assess a child's interest, needs, and abilities. So when the teacher do an observation, of course, the teacher can also assess the interest or the needs of the child for it to if naaban siya ay no contribute on some things na needed i-improve sa isa ka bata. So 4, make good decisions about guiding children. 5, the teacher can catch up an unexpected incident no matter what or no matter when it occurs, for it is usually recorded at a later time. So because of the teacher has a anecdotal record is free to do, meaning it is not very strict on the time when or where you will going to conduct it. So when you are recording or getting the data, you can catch up those things now you don't expect on the result of your observation. So you can also write those, and if it is going to help your observation, it is doesn't matter at all if you are going to get or parang isa ba ay appeal sa imuhang observation. So next, teacher can do anecdotal records without being separate from classroom activities and without breaks. It does not interrupt the flow of teaching. So it is very good having anecdotal record since dili maapektuhan ang imuhang discussion every time you going to conduct it. So, biskan pa ga klase ka dira you can use anecdotal record pa rin, and maybe during that time you are doing classroom activities or discussing, you're going to get some information, new information from that type or time na you inserted or conducted your observation. 7, teacher can use digital voice recorder, laptop, or desktop computers. So, the teacher can, if nag, syempre, to have a documentation about your observation, the teacher can have this mga gadgets or technology to help the observation. You can use digital voice recorder as it said, laptop or desktop computer. So those are the advantages of having anecdotal record. Now, since we have advantages, meaning it has also um, disadvantages. So the disadvantages of having anecdotal record or doing anecdotal record, this method captures only snapshot and ID, therefore not a complete reflection of the child's overall behavior. Since it is unopen and we haven't have na parang strict rule to follow your observation, um, this will going to have problem because you will not going or 100% be sure na you're going to get what is the overall behavior of the child or your reflection like that. Next, observers can make biased and opinionated statements since it is an open type of observing recording, so it could have this type of result na the teacher will going to be biased since for example the student that she will going to observe is um, her relatives, you have an anak you observe, so it can be ang iyang masulat dito is bias based on what she observed on their house during their na kauban sila, and maapil ni murag maapektuhan because she can do that because it is open type of observation, right? So like that mga nga incidents pwede mahitabo when using anecdotal record. The 3 is interpretations may be invalid. An observer might make several anecdotal records and then conclude that is simply not supported by the data. So, sayang lang, di ba? There are the chances na ma-invalid pa rin yung observation mo when you are going to have anecdotal record since pwede ma-interrupt, maputol ang session or what you call that when you are observing your students. So, magbalik na sad ka. So, that is one of 3 disadvantages on having anecdotal record. So, now, we are done with discussing anecdotal records. Now, let's move on discussing running record. Running record is an assessment tool that provides information to a teacher about child's fluency and use of cues to figure out a word. It was developed by Marie M. Clay on 1993. So, it is more detailed narrative of a child's behavior that includes the sequence of events. So, if the anecdotal record is a brief note type of notes, I brief way of notes like that. A running record is a detailed, so kailangan um, had I and the observation has a format to do or to be followed. So yeah, those are the characteristics of a running record. Now we have three main columns on running record. So we have first the context and backgrounds comments that give a clear idea of the setting. The information includes the setting, people involved, your impression of the mood of the group, and the child's activity with starting time and ending time. 2. The intensive observation provides space for an accurate, objective, detailed description of an incident, describing children's actions and speech as well as how they seem to feel. 3. Reflection or an analysis of every action is not necessary or desirable, but making sensible and well thought out reflection is advisable. So these are the main columns of the running record. Now let's move on. Before that, the format naman or the sample of running record naman is like this. You are going to write down your focus, um, the date, and you're going to have parang columns, three columns, and the first column, you're going to write down the context or the background, and your comments and the time. And sa second column naman, you're going to write down the intensive observation. And the next column, for the third column, you're going to write down the reflection or the comments of you as a teacher. And below, a long interpretation of those observations. So, naka-detail siya. Unlike sa anecdotal record, it is free lang siya. Parang, ano lang, you're going to write it based on what you think is helpful for your observation. Here in running record should be followed by you are going to write and follow all of this required information from your um, observation. So now let's talk about the advantages of having running records. So first, more details are possible. Carefully observing for several additional minutes enables observer to record more facets of a child's behavior than is possible with shorter methods. So I don't know if you are going to agree with me, but I believe that um, making things in detail or very ano siya kanang hanay or biskan taas is very effective din jud siya, and you will going to get a lot of information if ingana nga type of format imong i-follow, right? So just like here on running record, it is proved that it is more convenient na din to do if ani ang imong buhaton na type of observation. So next, it is open-minded. This allows teacher to record everything she sees and not restricting the observation to a particular kind of behavior. So just like anecdotal record, it is also an open-minded type of observing your child or the child. So the teacher can record everything na makita niya to the student or the observed student. 3. A variety of behaviors can be documented. More time for observing allows observers to see the unfolding of behavioral sequences. For it does not require that the teacher has special observational skills. Just like, again, on anecdotal record, the teacher doesn't need to be trained or be na skills on observing. They can also observe in this type of observation. So it is um, can be used when you going to observe your children or the students na imong mahandelan. So now, let's talk about disadvantages naman of running record. So first one, teacher cannot interact with the children and someone else must work with the children. So teacher cannot interact with the children. So meaning it is focused on observing lang talaga. So you were going to observe lang ang behavior ng students and you were not going to ask or any follow-ups na behavior during this time na mag-assess ka or I mean mag-observe ka or mag-take down notes ka sa ilang data. Two, this is time consuming. It makes it difficult for observers to find periods of interrupted time. Since it is not like anecdotal record na short notes lang and can be masulod lang nimo siya during class times. Running record is not like that. So, this is time consuming kasi mag-follow jud og time na imong gibutan dito. For example, you write down their time of observation. You're going to 15 minutes. So, or 20 minutes. Sa loob ng 20 minutes, it is expected only na ang bata lang ang imuhang i-observe without asking, without any interaction with them. Sila lang jud ang mag-create or mag-show. Maghayaan mo sila na mag-show ng performance or whatsoever that you going to observe to them. One of the example of that is during PE, diba? If the students do, for example, push-ups, so the teacher will never have to interact with their students during the push-up, diba? You will going to give them a time lang until mahuman ang katong ilang gi-perform and then di na mag-interact. So that is like sa running record then. 3, the observer's attention is divided. Writing a running record requires observer to write, type, or speak into a digital video recorder while continuing to observe. The observer is actually dividing his attention between looking and recording, possibly affecting what the observer recalls about an incident. So, I've already said this na since dili gani siya free or dili siya based on what I mean dili siya kana yung ginaano nato nga pwede lang later na nimo siya i-write down bahala na basta lang na observe di mo tama. In running record, you should write exactly what is happening. For example, you observe that the child keeps on you do the activities like activity nimo is walking walking lang pila ka mile or I mean meters. Tapos the chosen child or katong i-observe will show the behavior na every time maglakaw siya is mag-stop siya and then maglingi-lingi. So dira kailangan nimo na siya i-note or i-write down sa imong observational or observation notes or running record. Dili pwede nga later na nimo siya ibuhaton because it could be make na imong observation is invalid kasi hindi nasunod, right? Or maybe dili nimo makuha ang mga times na or exact time when siya nag-stop, if yung good ang types of observation ni mo ang or yeah, observation ni mo gibuhat. The fourth one is observers must keep themselves apart from the children for long periods. So, it's just like sa number 2 na the number 1 na dili na kailangan mag-interact ang teacher during the observation time. So, that's all for the sa running record. Now, let's move on to the time sampling. Okay, time sampling, this is a method. This method is used to record the frequency of a behavior for a designated period of time. The teacher records only a small part of a behavior and is often used to record the types of activities in which the child engages or his interaction with the other children in a typical day at school. So, ala, more of that. Wait. Time sampling is a method of sampling behavior and observing. No. Time sampling may be used in observing young children because many of their behaviors are brief. Sa young children, this can be applied to the young children like sa mga nursery kasi nga gamay lang ang time, attention time of their nila. So, using time sampling, the teacher can gain comprehensive information about the behavior. Even na gamay lang siya og time na makapag observe sila, the teacher. Still, sa time sampling, this will going to give a lot enough information for the observation. So the format, example of time sampling, we have the format of this. You're going to write the child name, age, location, date and time, observer, your name, and the teacher's name, katong nag-observe, type of development observed. So what kind of development you are going to observe. For example, the behavior. Parang, for example, is if the students could follow the rules on washing their hands, if kaya ba nila mag-memorize ba nila ma-memorize ba nila ang steps on washing their hands. So you can do that. You can use this type of observation. So diba na-stop ta sa type of development observed. Now, you're going to have also to write the event, time, name of comments. So you're going to write those. So this is the sample. If you can see, or if you can't see, I know you can see. I will going to send it later. The format of time sampling or the all of the types of observation, mga format niya. So now let's talk about the advantages of having time sampling. Number 1, time sampling requires less preparation and require less writing. So very convenient, like murag mas convenient siya kaysa atong di ba, anecdotal record. Less lang ang preparation and less writing. 2, teacher does not have to pay attention to the same child for an extended period of time. So, dili totally the teacher will going to have their attention or focus sa particular na i-observehan. Like, unlike sa anecdotal record o running record na kailangan jud focus ka sa ilaha. Diba? The third one, this method also gives an estimation of behavior rather than documenting every instance. Estimation of behavior rather than documenting every instance. So, you are not required na din na i-write every detail or every movements na gibuhat sa bata. We're going to write down lang dito what is your literally goal on observing the child. Poor teacher would be able to graph the designated behavior and would have a good idea about specific child and this observed behavior.